Well, it's quite late. I think it's about 1:45 in the afternoon of day 15, which is a Monday, and I'm going to talk about sugar. The other day, I've been off the sugar, and I had like a stable. Well, my legs were hurting, my things were doing it. I was concentrating on, because of the pain and the discomfort. It was at the front of my mind all the time what I was doing, and that I needed to lose as much weight as I can, do that sort of thing, do the exercise, keep the diet very strict, and do all that, and that was fine. And I wasn't really, well, my body had adjusted. I wasn't really hungry. I was eating stuff that I got mostly from the supermarket. I've been taking my vitamins religiously, so I've got because of something I was told by a doctor a year ago, I was already on the vitamin D train. I had done some tests. In fact, it was 2 years ago. It was 2018, and I'd done some tests with a doctor, and the doctor said you have a vitamin D deficiency. So I was already ahead of the curve on this. I've been taking vitamin D. Well, in fact, what I've been doing is I've been taking multivits and various other multivits and multivitamins and a cod liver oil. What do they call it? Begins with C. Capsule. And cod liver oil capsule each day, and then I started doing that vitamin D thing because of the China virus that has come around. So vitamin D. So I was all aware of that. Lack of vitamin D, lack of sunlight, it affects your immune system. It weakens it. So I've been doing all that. So I've been taking the right vitamins. I cut down on all the usual processed rubbish that we were eating, and I'd been pretty good at that. And it was in the forefront of my mind because I was in so much pain and so much difficulty getting around. So I was concentrating on it. Then yesterday, which is 2 weeks into this period of walking, because remember that the leg thing goes back a month or two. So the diet thing and didn't just start with the leg. When I started doing the leg, I'd already started changing my diet and looking after myself, because I needed to get back on my feet to start this walking segment, this walking period. And so I'd already started looking after myself diet-wise, and I was really doing quite well, I thought. And then I'd done the walking section, and everything seemed to be going fine. And then the other day, and it would be the 14th day, so it's 2 weeks of the walk, and things are starting to look good. And lo and behold, what did I do? I go and I have I'm in the supermarket, sugar, some ice cream, and it was a yogurty thing, some yogurty things with sugar in them. You know, where they have those little cereal things with them, little cereal packs, and they have yogurts and all that, and ice cream. A lot of it. A bit of a binge on the ice cream and the sugar. Why not? Why not? Because, you know, I've been a good boy for these last couple of months. Everything seems to be going great. What can possibly go wrong? Well, what can possibly go wrong is that I am now finding that the next day, this is the thing with the sugar. People say, well, you know, you can. The next day, of course, you're tired and lethargic and you feel down. And that's because you've had a little bit of a boost. It appears that the sugar has done you no harm. You've gone on and you're up and you're out and you're doing it. I find that I've become a little bit sort of, I've become a little bit, I tend to get a little bit angrier. I tend to be a little bit more quick off with myself, angry with myself, and not shouting and bawling at people, but generally a little bit more irritable when things don't go as quickly as I want when I'm on, I've been taking sugar. So I've been completely calm and unhappy, but, and frustrated, but calm in my own mind and in my metabolism. There's nothing I can do about it. And then I had the sugar. Next thing I know, the next day, boom. You're tired. tired and lethargic and really, really don't feel like doing stuff. But that's okay, you see, because what I can do is I know that if I go to the sugar monkey and I ask for more sugar, he'll give me more sugar, and then I'll feel better for a few hours. And then I am back on the treadmill of sugar high, sugar low, and instead of having the stability that I require, especially if you're the sort of person who gets really, say you get really upset or depressed about things, or really anxious about stuff, you do not need these highs and lows. You don't need them. And so that's what I've done. I've gone and I've had a nice clean period going back for the last couple of months. I've then had sugar, and today, despite the fact it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I went to bed early last night, I'm tired. I'm feeling down and I'm feeling tired. And that's the sugar monkey going, well, all you need is go out and get some more ice cream. Go out and get some. What's wrong with you? You know, the old sugar monkey's going, go to the sweet shops, buy yourself a couple of chocolate bars and stick them in, and you'll feel fine, and everything will be. And then you can go and do your walk. You can go and do what you need to do. You don't have to feel tired and run down. It's like any drug. Yeah, there's a high and there's a low. Now, I'm not a medical person, so I'm not giving any medical advice to anybody. But from my personal experience, this sugar thing, it is an addictive, horrible drug. If you think back, we as human beings have only, for example, I'll give you an example from history. Right back in the days of Roman times, we're talking at the times of the Romans and pre-Roman thing. If you went to a house of a big Britannic or Irish king or a chieftain, we'll call them, for want of a better word, chieftain's house, they would have on their tables, or quite often if you're very wealthy, they'd have on their tables a little silver holder, and in that holder would be honey. And you could do what some people do, dip your food in that thing. That was a top quality treat from the boss man too. And he had it in a nice little thing. Honey was the only source of sugar that we had, really. You know, I mean, there are the carbohydrates convert into sugars and stuff like that. But we didn't have the sugarcane type refined sugars that we have at the moment. And so it's only really, if you look back on it, well, the discovery of the New World, and then years and years later, because despite the New World being there, and in fact there been sugar plantations and things like that, it wasn't widely available to everybody till the Victorian age. I mean, you might go down and have, the little bonbons, the goody goodies, as the French say, a little sweet every now and again as a very rare treat might turn up. If you lived in a village somewhere in Britain, or you lived in Europe or in America, you'd have some sweets turn up from the big city, and it'll be a treat for everybody because they're so unusual. But the sugar wasn't a big thing because we didn't have the transportation means, we didn't have the industrial capacity to flood the food market with food that was full of sugar. And we're now in a situation where 100 or something years later, and we see the outcome. The sugar thing is not good. Yeah? We can all look back historically, and we can look at the potato blight, and we can also see, well, you know what? Totally relying on one food source is not a good idea. Probably the Mayans in Central America probably could have told you that. And I imagine some of the people in India and some places in Africa possibly in the past, relying completely on one food source, not a good idea. Filling your food full of sugar appears not to be a good idea either. So there you go. So I feel tired and lethargic. I've done very little today, and I really need to get up and go and do a bit of walking now. I was awake at 7 this morning, but I've just done nothing. But the sugar, if you are the kind of person who it affects, it's got to go. It's got to go and be a very rare treat. You know, it's got to go out of your life, because For example, another thing that I learned, if you go into the supermarkets and you're looking around for something, this is a funny thing, there's a certain type of creamy cheese named after a city in the United States of America. Okay? And that is a creamy cheese. And what they did was, it's the original, it's just the cheese. It's a creamy cheese. Bit like, more creamy than a brie, a French brie or something like that. It's in a plastic holder, and the original ones they then come out with the fat-free or zero fat or low fat version of it. Just go and pick up, if you're in the country where these things are sold, go and pick up the original and the fat-free or reduced fat ones and look at the products labelling, and you'll see that all they've done is they've removed fat from one product and replaced it with sugar, and the sugar is worse than the fat. And a lot of the stuff in supermarkets that are marked down as low fat or reduced fat or no fat are actually simply, they've taken the fat out, they've discovered it tastes really awful, or they haven't found a way to simulate the natural taste of whatever it is, so they pump it full of sugar. But the sugar is not good. Not good, not good, not good, especially if you're a big bloke. Low carbs and all that sort of thing, fine, but unfortunately the sugar has to go. It has to be a rarity. There's one guy who was a self-help guru in America, and he wrote a self-help book, but he'd actually put on a load of weight while he was doing it, and he ended up saying to his wife, I can't publish this self-help book because I've put on all these weight, telling people how they can, when I've put on all this weight, so I have to go running. So his poor old wife laughed and joked at him and all that, but he changed his diet and started running every day, because she basically, yeah, you got to go and do it, and he did do it, and then he lost the weight, and just so he wouldn't have the embarrassment of having put all this weight on while writing while writing a self-help book. But never mind. But he did it. Well, what he did, he said I love my ice cream. He said, so on Sundays, he said I'd have some ice cream, and that's what he did. He said all my sins, he put all his snacks and things. He says, when I was doing the dieting, I just said, right, that's okay. And then on the Sunday, I'll go down to this place where we have a Sunday meal, and then we'll have some ice cream. I'll have some ice cream with it, and that's that. And he did that, and it worked for him. But my advice is, he got away with it. I wouldn't. I like my ice cream. I like various other bits and pieces, but the sugar has to go. It has to be reduced down to a rare treat. Because this is what it does to you. It does do sugar high, sugar low. And it's just not good. You're far better off cracking the sugar monster, yeah? Get the sugar monkey off your shoulder, and then having a nice steady metabolism without the highs and without the lows. Anyway, there you go. I've got to decide now what I'm going to do for the remainder of the day. Sugar. Out.